Hello, rebels. So I don't know what happened earlier, but I had went live and I was recording, and some people were viewing me, but somehow, some way, it didn't get uploaded onto the to my thing. So I'm not sure what happened. So I went ahead and I'm just gonna record it again. Um, but basically, I was just talking about the madness that's been going on in the country and how we need to start coming together, I guess, or whatever. And just basically explaining that the rioting shouldn't be a focus, the main focus. It should be really about what the purpose of the protesting is that we're going to be just going to be standing for justice. Justice for George Floyd and anybody for that many black lives that were lost due to police brutality. Um, it feels really weird that I have to re-record this. I'm not sure why YouTube didn't upload my last message that I already posted on here, um, which is probably an issue. I'm not sure having to do with either my computer or just in YouTube in general, because I know I uploaded it, but whatever. Um, Other than that, I'll just keep it short and sweet, I guess. Um, uh, So the focus should not be on the protesters that are rioting because they're not at all correlate with what the protest is about. And I think that the people that are rioting are just opportunists, taking opportunity to rob and steal because they're down under luck and not really they're not having anything to do with the rioting or they have nothing to do with the protesting that's going on. So um I think that shouldn't be the main focus. I think a lot of people that are focused on that are just like trying to be absent-minded on what is actually going on, and they're just trying to find they're falling into what the deters the ones that are trying to deter the message. That's what they're doing is they're taking that all about the rioting and stuff and kind of focusing on that instead of focusing on what the messages behind of Black Lives Matter. So Black Lives Matter really wants to defund the police department, and we want to end systematic racism. So that's what they want to do. And I think that should be the main focus. We should be focusing on that. Um, Another thing too is there's supposed to be another form of protesting coming up that's on July 7th, which is going to be called Blackout. It's called Blackout Day, July 7th. We're going to be doing, everybody's not going to be buying anything at all that day. All minorities are supposed to be standing together and not buying anything that day. So we try to remember to do that. Um, there's, let me think. Um, it really sucks because I freaking spent all that time stating what I said earlier. But, anyways, you know what? I can talk a little bit about my time with my protests. I um I went to two protests. That's what the last video was about. Was when I was at the protest in Fort Lauderdale, and then I went to another one in Coral Springs, Florida. So, um, two different protests. Um, The one in Fort Lauderdale was peaceful. The news crew that got the peaceful side of it, they didn't really, or let me say this, they didn't really capture the peaceful side of it. They captured more at what happened afterwards, which was later at night. And apparently what happened later at night was the was when the police instigated them to start rioting, because the police ended up blocking the garage to where they were supposed to go to get their cars, and that's what happened. And that's the same one that where the girl got shot in the face. That's what happened there. The peaceful protest where the girl got shot in the face, and the girl that got shoved on the ground by the police officer who got suspended, and the one where the black lady was shouting at him. That all happened in Fort Lauderdale. That's the one I attended. But that was the aftermath of that protest when they were all going home, and that's what the police instigated, which is what the media didn't really show you earlier, is how peaceful it was before then. We didn't have any issues or anything during the day. It wasn't until later that night when that stuff started happening, and then the destruction started going on, which once again had nothing to do with the peaceful protesters. It had something to do with outside people taking an opportunity to destroy the city when nobody else was looking, because they even did it like a little bit down the way from where everybody was protesting. The area where we had all gathered up to protest actually was farther away from where they had the damages done, was farther away from where the protesters were. So the protesters had nothing to do with that at all. Um, and then uh, it's really crazy, I guess, to think about what's going on. But in a way, this is probably like a necessary thing for us to get over this racism. Maybe that this is what it takes to get over racism in this country. Maybe this is what it's going to be, is like all this confusion, all this back and forth. Maybe we'll finally get through all the racism in this country and it'll be over with for good. I mean, it's hard. It's going to take obviously some time, but maybe it might eventually get there. Maybe we might eventually get there. Um, but anyways, other than that, I haven't really been up to anything else. I got another job. I finally started working again after the pandemic, which most people don't know that too. Like the pandemic, everybody thinks that the pandemic has something to do with all um the spikes and the rises in new cases. I think that has a lot to do with the protesters prior to this protest, which was protesting for everything to be open. As you can see, those people weren't wearing masks, and or they were protesting without masks on, and each other real near each other and everything, and they were protesting without masks on. Then again, too, they were also protesting with guns, and they I don't remember if they were being violent or not, but I know they were protesting with their guns out, and majority of them were Caucasian, but nobody said anything about them, which goes figure. So, I mean, because I guess they were peaceful protesting, but in a way they were kind of it. Imagine if all the black people right now were to bring their guns out. It would be a war zone on the streets if they were to bring their guns out and protest with their guns. It would be a war on the street. There'd be no way that they would allow that to happen. Plus, you want to be peaceful. We're being peaceful. We are being peaceful. There are peaceful protesting going on. It's just that there's some opportunists that are taking the opportunity to steal, riot, and looting because either A, they're mad at the world because for some reason they're in a situation where they are mad at something. I don't know, they're mad at the world and they just want to see the world burn. B, they are upset that that the 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 protesting is going on again for the same shit that it's been going on for forever. So they're mad at that. So they're going to be protesting again. Or C, they're just in really need of something. Like they need to survive. They need to survive, and they took the opportunity now to get stuff so they can actually survive, like food or I don't know, shoes or sunglasses or whatever the fuck they need. They can sell for to get make profit off of, so that they can survive. Which all of those I can understand in a way. I can understand why, but it still doesn't mean it's right. It's the right thing to do is to loot and riot. Hi, Michael. I'm doing good. So it's a little bit concerning that there's a lot of people that are focusing more on that aspect than less on the actual fact that the reason we're right, the reason we're actually protesting for. Because I understand that there's a small group of people that are just ruining the outlook of everything with destruction and rage and destruction. But there really is a problem with the cops in this country, and if you don't see that, then there's something you need to really focus on. You need to start looking into because there's a real issue with the cops in this country. Um, I thought everyone would. Yeah, it's like I said, d- that it's sad that people are doing that, but at the same time, you understand why there's people doing it. I understand there's a reason why people are looting and rioting, and then just like I know why people are protesting. It there's But the thing is, I'm not trying to focus too much on the looting and rioting. That's taking away from what the actual protest means and how the protest is really make trying to make changes, better changes for us. That it it comes it's it's bad all around, but the protest in general is good. The protest in itself is good, and there wouldn't be looting and rioting and no protests if no cop killed a black man, an innocent black man. There wouldn't be none of this shit going on right now if no cop put his knee on George Floyd's neck and held it there for 8 minutes until he was dead. So you gotta look at it like that. Like it sucks that there's looting and rioting, but then again, it's not the you should blame the cops that the system that's doing this, the system that we have to keep protesting about this for. There's a reason why everybody's just upset is because of or people taking advantage. I don't know if it's just people that are upset. I don't know if it's that. I think a lot of it is has to do with people taking advantage of the protesting and that they're going around and looting and rioting because they can, because they know that they won't get in as much trouble or they won't get caught. So there's that. Um, So, and let me see what Michael said. Michael said, I think the virus too has a lot to do with that everyone has no jobs and no money. Also, yeah, yeah, I think a part of it had to do with that too. It's just, it's just crazy times. It's crazy times. But like I said earlier, I said that if this is what it takes, if this is what we have to go through in order to defeat racism in this country, then, or racism across the world, because it's not only happening in this country. If you think that, then you're stupid. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Racism is happening all across the world. So it's, and that's why the whole world is protesting. Um, so it's, if this is something that we have to go through in order to make it, to defeat racism across the world, then I say it's a necessary evil. It's just something we have to go through. It sucks. It really does suck, but it's something that, like I said, if we have to go through it, we have to go through it. We'll come out better afterwards. And I know it's going to take a lot. It's going to be a while before we get through it, but it's hopefully it's something that we'll get through it. Yeah, there's a lot going on in 2020. I think my mom said to me that 2020 is like clear vision. So maybe that's the reason why we're going through all. It's the eye opener of all the years. It's the eye opener. It's going to be the one that opens our eyes to so many different things, and then we're going to be learning. We'll adjust. It's going to, it's our eye opener. So everything that we needed to bring out in the open is coming out in the open, so that way we know about it, and we're all getting we're all um I can't sit like this. We're all it's all coming out in the open, so we can have awareness of everything, being making everything very aware, making us all aware of it, so that way um that way we can deal with it appropriately. All right, good for you, Michael. That's awesome. He said, I'm a white guy from England. I have a lot of colored friends. We all get along. Nice. That's awesome. That's all we want, is for us to all get along. That's the thing too, is when people say all lives matter. Yeah, of course all lives matter. We know this. But black lives are the ones we're concerned about right now at this moment in time. It's not that we don't care about other races, it's that the black lives are the ones that are really in jeopardy right now. So we need to worry about or focus our energy on helping black lives right at the moment. But like I said, majority of that is to just end most of the Black Lives Matter movement is just to end racism and to defund police officers. So um so that way we can bring more awareness. We want to bring more awareness. I know that for a fact, is bring more awareness to what's going on with the police departments, which I think more people are starting to see what's going on and noticing how there's not all, we're not saying all cops are racist, but we are saying that there's a lot of cops that are doing are that there are some cops that are racist, and then there's cops that are just allowing that behavior to continue on. They're not saying anything, which is also wrong. You have to, we need the police to actually police themselves. If you see a cop doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, you should be able to tell that cop, hey, what the hell are you doing? Or just like that black lady cop, she corrected that other cop because he pushed that girl, and that was crazy. So it's stuff like that we need the police department to do, so that way they can so that way we have more faith in our justice system, because right now it took us having to march and having to protest in order for them to even arrest all of the cops that were involved in George Floyd's murder. So, and that's crazy, because that imagine, like, if we didn't do anything, what would happen? They probably would have never even arrested the one dude, the one that was kneeling on his neck. I can't remember his name. But imagine that if we didn't do anything, what would have happened? There are only 5 police officers in there, and we can do what we like here. Oh, that's what's up. That's nice. That's nice, Michael. Um, so it's just about being aware and defunding the police, because they don't need more. They don't need any more money, or they need to start. We need to start getting them on board with helping us, and not actually letting Black lives go to not letting Black lives be just thrown to the side, or thrown to the curb. We should be, if a Black life is taken, they need to have more. There shouldn't be a reason why so many Black lives are taken in the first place. There should be better. Michael's right. There should be more training for these officers, where they're trained properly, because believe it or not, I think I've told you guys before, but I'm prior in police. I used to be a military cop, and I don't know about civilian cops that much, but I'm sure it's not much difference from military police, except for certain um, certain policies, which are in fact, like, we can't go around arresting civilians or anything, but um, but military cops dealt with deal with personnel, still deal with people, but only in the military. So we dealt with use of force, and I think that use of force is still the same with either civilian cops or military cops. And use of force with military cops, you can only use certain use of force based off of the situation. So deadly force cannot be used unless it's in a matter of life or death. In a matter of life or death, meaning if your life is in jeopardy, then you can use deadly force, and that means that you take that person's life every time. So you don't pull out your gun and threaten anybody. If you're pulling out your gun, it's because you're ready to shoot it. You're prepared to shoot it. You're not using it to threaten anybody. You're prepared to shoot it. And that's the thing too. But yeah, there should be there should be um, definitely some training going on with these cops, and it's just sad. It's sad that we even are at this point where we're marching to defund the police department, and for to wonder why the justice system is not taking care of their matter by themselves. Like I said, it would be really if we didn't see the video, or if nobody's seen what happened to George Floyd, I wonder what those police would have gotten away with. What they would have gotten away with. They would have gotten away with murder, right? They would have gotten away with murder. We all know they wouldn't have gotten charged because they didn't even charge the man right as soon as possible. As soon as the video showed up, they should have seen it and known that man should have been arrested. Like that should have been a no-brainer. But it was like, no, they didn't even do that. And the opportunities for the black community need to change too. So we have less violence in the black communities. We should have better opportunities for black community. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that needs to change with the system. And I think that this country's George Floyd was an unfortunate sacrifice to let us know that, hey, this is it. This is the end. We need to freaking end this and change the way black lives are dealt with in this country. We need to change it. And that's it. That's just it. Um, how many times has it happened before? Yeah, exactly. It's very upsetting to watch that video. It's because he it it's just how could you not know that you were taking a man's life? How could you not know? As a first responder, you're supposed to help, protect, and serve, and they weren't doing their job. They just simply weren't doing their job at all. And this is really sad, but like I said, he was an unfortunate sacrifice in something that is now worldwide, a worldwide movement, because it went to different countries. About I seen a post that said it went to 18 different countries. It was it was nationwide, so all 50 states were protesting, and then there was also protests going on in 18 different countries. So this is worldwide. Black Lives Matter movement, and I think that this is a good thing for the black community. We're going to make some serious changes, and I'm I'm just hoping. I know it's not going to happen overnight. That's one thing. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but at least this is going to make some serious changes. And once again, I'm going to say there is another way you can protest. If you haven't been to other protests, or if you're scared to go to like the other protests, you can also do with the you can also join us by not spending a dime on July 7th. We're not spending a dime on July 7th. All minorities are all minorities and all all anybody else who supports Black Lives Matter, don't 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 spend a dime of any money in any on anything on July 7th, because that is when they're doing Blackout Day. Blackout Day is supposed to represent the amount of money that we spend into the world, how much money we spend, how much money we actually put into the United States for as black lives, so they can see how black lives actually do matter. Because that's the only way they're really going to notice too, is if we hit them where it hurts, which is going to be their pockets. when you start not spending money and um, stop spending money, um, when you stop spending the money or putting money into these white companies and start um, building into these black owned businesses, then that'll be a lot better. We'll have black owned businesses growth, and supporting the black owned businesses will be better for the black community. Um, Another thing is too that a lot of these companies do use um, inmates to um, demand or make their products, or they make their products for little change. So they're getting paid little for them to make their products. I would suggest researching some of the companies that actually you go use, and see which ones used inmates to make their products, because the inmates make their products for real cheap, then they sell it for high profit, and then they keep majority of the profit for themselves, which is kind of like slavery, like modern day slavery. It's really bad. So start buying more black owned businesses merchandise, or product, and let's kind of stay away from um, those big gigantic companies. um, like I know I'm gonna start trying to do that. I'm gonna start looking for places that are black owned, and I'm gonna start trying to invest in black owned businesses. Um, because that's how these companies work. That's how they'll get on board with everything. That's how will start making real changes, if we just start by little things like this, um, like July 7th. Like I said, July 7th. Make sure you don't spend a dime on July 7th. It's blackout. It's blackout day. We're not spending any money. No minorities, no black people are spending any money on that day. We're trying to hit them where it hurts. But um, I'm gonna go, Michael. It's been a pleasure. See you next week for a British company because they will buy slave labor from countries. Yeah, exactly. Just try to avoid doing that. Um, but I gotta go. It's been great. Um, hopefully, hopefully this one, if it doesn't upload, I'll just have to. I'll fucking have to see what's going on, because this is crazy. It should upload though. Thank you, Michael. Um, Spread love. Think for yourself. Live free. I'll see you next time. Hopefully this uploads. If not, I'll have to go back to uploads instead of live videos. But we'll see. All right, love you guys. Bye bye.